Warwood Tool, Snow and Nealley, Council Tool and Estwing, 4 axe brands still hand-forged in America, and every other handle on the market is fiberglass hiding a secret nobody talks about. By the mid-1800s, there were over 400 recognized styles of axes being manufactured across the United States. Maine alone was a buzzing hub of axe production, powered by water wheels on the Messalonskee Stream. America didn't just use axes. America defined what an axe could be. And then, almost overnight, that entire world collapsed. Chainsaws showed up. People moved from rural homesteads to suburbs. Wood heat became a relic. And manufacturers do what manufacturers do when they're drowning. They merged, relocated to Asia and South America, diversified into products that had nothing to do with forging steel. Manufacturing employment in this country collapsed from 19.5 million workers in 1979 to 11.5 million by 2009. 8 million jobs gone. Those 400 axe patterns reduced to fewer than 30, and most of the companies that made them gone entirely. Today, when people search for premium axes, they're as likely to find Swedish brands like Granfors Bruk or Hultafors as American-made tools. But not all of them. 4 brands refuse to leave, and their stories are worth knowing. These 4 companies represent the last remaining American axe forging states: West Virginia, Maine, North Carolina, and Illinois. The oldest is Warwood Tool, founded in 1854 in Wheeling, West Virginia. 170 years of continuous operation, and they still forge every single tool in the same West Virginia shop. Warwood only makes 3 axes, but each one is hand-forged from premium 51 to 60 high-carbon American steel, specifically chosen for its exceptional shock resistance. Every axe ships with a leather mask, also made in the USA. Their Pulaski axe is built to Forest Service specification, and here's the detail that separates Warwood from the imitators. Unlike imports where the mattock end is simply twisted 90 degrees from flat stock, Warwood actually hand forges that shape. It's a fundamentally different process that produces a fundamentally stronger tool. Their perfect axe was nominated Best Overall Bushcraft Axe, and Warwood holds ISO 9001 certification, which for a shop their size making just 3 axes tells you everything about their commitment to doing this right. 10 years after Warwood opened its doors, Snow and Nealley was founded in 1864 in Bangor, Maine. Charles Snow and Edward Neely saw the timber industry booming around them and built a company to serve it. But then the same forces that killed the rest of the industry came for them too. In 1998, the owners considered moving or selling outright. A venture capital firm bought them. By 2003, most operations were shut down, and that should have been the end of the story, but it wasn't. In 2012, Chris Hilty's family purchased Snow and Nealley and moved it to Smyrna, Maine. The Hiltys are Amish. By 2015, all forging was back in the United States. Today, every Snow and Nealley axe is made by Amish craftsmen. Every blade is drop-forged from high-carbon steel, most of it 1080T, prized for superior edge retention, hand-tempered, hand-ground, assembled in a shop perched on an old farm. And because the Amish don't use the internet, Snow and Nealley has no official website, no social media. The only way to buy their axes is through authorized dealers like Lehman's Hardware. In 2024, that feels almost radical. Council Tool has been a family-run business in Lake Waccamaw, North Carolina since 1886. Over 135 years of continuous production. They buy their raw materials from domestic sources, forge and assemble everything in North Carolina, and make most of their Hickory handles right there in the same facility. Every Council axe head is drop-forged from high-quality tool steel, then heat-treated to a Rockwell hardness of 48 to 55, exceeding the NSI standard, and they target 1.25 inches back from the cutting edge. rather than the half-inch minimum the standard requires. Their history runs deep into American military and conservation work. During World War II, finished spanner wrenches were trucked directly to the Wilmington airport and flown to Europe by military plane. Parts that set the explosive timing on artillery shells at the Anzio Beach invasion. In the 1930s, the Forest Service asked Council Tool to develop firefighting tools, leading to the Council Rake. Still in their product line today, they supply Pulaski axes and combi tools to the USFS. The Pulaski itself was named after Ed Pulaski, the Forest Service ranger who invented it after leading 45 men to safety in a mine tunnel during the Great Fire of 1910. And that shovel Smokey the Bear holds? Council Tool makes it. Finally, there's Estwing, founded in 1923 by a Swedish immigrant named Ernest Estwing who settled in Rockford, Illinois. Estwing had one revolutionary idea: forge the head and handle from a single continuous piece of steel. Traditional axes join a wooden handle to a metal head with a wedge, a connection that loosens over time and eventually fails. Estwing's one-piece forging simply cannot come apart. The concept was so sound it hasn't fundamentally changed in over a century. Estwing tools are represented in the Smithsonian's collections. They employ 250 to 300 people in Rockford, and in 2023, they celebrated their 100th anniversary. Now, about that fiberglass secret. Walk into any hardware store and the axes lining the shelves mostly have fiberglass handles. They look tough. They're marketed as indestructible. But here's what nobody tells you. Fiberglass becomes brittle in cold weather and soft in heat. When it breaks, you cannot replace it. The inside is filled with a substance like Bondo, making removal nearly impossible. Firefighters have reported fiberglass splinters embedding in their hands after handles deteriorated. And the vibration that travels up your arms with every swing is significantly worse than wood. The real kicker, when a fiberglass handle ends up in a landfill, it stays there forever. It doesn't decay, can't be recycled, isn't renewable. Meanwhile, American hickory, the material these four companies rely on, sits at a Janka hardness of 1820, making it the second hardest commonly available American hardwood. Its interlocked fibrous grain absorbs shock, reduces fatigue, and flexes without breaking. If a hickory handle does break, you can replace it in the field. One outdoorsman carved a replacement handle during a trip and didn't have to cut the excursion short. In a future video, I'll show you exactly how to rehandle an axe in under 20 minutes. The grain orientation matters though. It should run parallel to the wedge slot. Cross-grained handles split, and most of what you'll find at big box stores is, to put it politely, cross-grained garbage. These four companies, Warwood, Snow and Nealley, Council Tool and Estwing, aren't relics. They're proof that the old way of making things, forging steel under pressure, aligning the grain, tempering by hand, still produces a superior product. Every forged axe head has its grain structure aligned and compressed, eliminating the internal voids and porosity that make cast or stamped heads fail. 4 brands, a combined 568 years of American manufacturing. Still here, still forging, still proving that some things were never meant to be made any other way.